Yeah, you said it has outraged neighbors and the community, and now the NAACP is calling for a closer look at the closure of this Safeway. Safeway has now made its plans official to close the supermarket near the intersection of Webster and Geary in the city's Fillmore district. The chain sent a letter to Mayor London Breed Tuesday saying that it would be closing the location on or around February 7th after 40 years of operation. In a statement, the chain said the decision came about following ongoing concerns about associate and customer safety and persistent issues with theft. Customers said the closure will devastate a community that needs a place to buy groceries.
We can't lose something like this without people suffering. A lot of elderly people can't just go wherever the new Safeway is.
Safeway said in a statement that workers have been notified of the closure. Regular customers say they will miss the staff here who have become a part of the community and say they worry about the closure of a pharmacy that serves the community.
Where are the elders going to go for their medicine? You got Queen Ada Hall. You got the different elder buildings or senior buildings around here for the community. Where are they going to go and shop at? Safeway is reasonable for us.
Now the local branch of the NAACP is stepping in, saying the closure will cause irreparable harm to one of the city's last remaining Black communities. Reverend Amos Brown is calling on city leaders to block the sale of the property if it will bring harm to the Black community.
This is a slap at Black people. And we are saying, we see it, we feel it, and the world needs to understand.
Outgoing District 5 Supervisor Dean Preston was among those who fought to keep the Safeway open when it first announced plans to close last year. He said the city needs to fight to purchase the site to build affordable housing and meet the shopping needs of the community.
I've also urged that if they won't voluntarily sell it, that we consider using eminent domain to acquire it, pay the market rate value, and acquire the site. Eminent domain's been used to harm this community. Why not finally use it to help?
The NAACP is saying the closure of the Safeway in February, Black History Month, is offensive. The organization stopped short of calling for a boycott, but did say there will be actions to raise awareness about the injustice they see with the potential sale of this site. Those actions set to get underway in January. We're live in San Francisco. Christian Cafton, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Okay, guys, so we are back in my home state of lovely, sunny California. Once again, liberal leadership, liberal policies, soft on crime, liberal policies have resulted in a grocery giant, Safeway, deciding to finally leave the Fillmore area of San Francisco, California. Now, if you know anything about Fillmore, before the gentrification that took place in that area, it was a really crappy area. It still is a crappy area. It's not a good place. When I was young and I would listen to music, rap music out of San Francisco, California, Fillmore was where all the thugs claimed to be from. And though I've never been there, you can see by Safeway, a doggone grocery store, having to leave because of rampant crime and theft, which is not only tolerated, but perpetuated by the community, the surrounding community, its leaders, and its residents. You can tell that this place is not a great place to live. Anytime you have a liberal-run city, anywhere in America, the characteristics of that place are the same. Crime is out of control. Businesses are robbed and looted out of existence. And the people are led in route by their politicians, by their corrupt liberal politicians, in rallying against businesses, blaming businesses for the fact that members of their community refuse to stop stealing from those businesses, to the point where the business has to leave the community. This is exactly what's happening in Fillmore. And to add insult to injury, instead of addressing the crime, instead of walking back or reversing the soft on crime policies, the liberal politicians, as you saw, along with the community leaders, as you saw Reverend Amos, I don't even know his name, Reverend Amos Brown, and Representative, I didn't even catch the name of the representative, but the local representative who's outgoing in that area, as you saw, instead of addressing crime, instead of walking back soft on crime policies, these people choose socialism. The answer to out of control crime driving businesses out of minority or Black communities is not to deal with the out of control crime. It's not to punish the criminals for their criminal behavior. It is not to hold the community or the law-abiding citizens accountable for perpetuating and defending criminality. No, that's not the answer. The answer is for the city to go and take ownership of the business, or to take ownership of the property that the business owns, so that the city, the local government, can create an environment that supports the local community. Does that even make sense? So the city of San Francisco is saying, look, Safeway is leaving because they've basically been robbed and looted out of business. But the city of San Francisco is about to go into the grocery business. The city of San Francisco is going to violate their rights, use eminent domain, give this business pennies on the dollar compared to what the building is actually worth. And then they're going to find someone who's willing to operate a grocery store under the supervision of the state, essentially, under the supervision of the local government. Guys, this is so ridiculous. Only in Looney Tunes land, only in La La Land, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, liberal-run cities that I refer to as La La Land, do these ideas even make sense? The ideas don't, I'm not even going to say they make sense. Only in these areas are these ideas even suggested and tolerated, actually given, platform, given acknowledgement. Crime is out of control, so the answer is for the government, the local government, to take over all the businesses. Do you realize how stupid that sounds? And then on top of that, that makes everything worse, is that you have a community of people, like the people in this video, who will talk about how they are going to suffer if the business closes down, but can't even make the connection in their mind between the fact that out of control stealing leads to businesses closing in your neighborhood, which leads to you not having the resources you need to live. Not one person in this video or the other 3 other videos that I watched addressed or even mentioned the out of control crime and theft in that area. That Safeway in Fillmore literally used to have self-checkout, but they could no longer keep the honor system where somebody's expected to behave in an honorable way, pick up their groceries, go to the self-checkout, scan every item that's in the bag, pay the money for the item, and then leave the store. That's called an honor system. No one's looking over your shoulder. No one's taking your things out of your basket and scanning it to make sure it gets scanned. It's the honor system. There was so much theft. There were so many people abusing the honor system that Fillmore Safeway had to get rid of self-checkout and install gates that basically won't open unless the person has paid for their food, and then they'll be allowed to leave the store. It's really a sad situation when a group of people who claim to care about their community allow a situation to be created within their community by members of their community where businesses can no longer serve them. The lady in the video talked about how where are the senior citizens going to get their prescriptions? I don't know. Maybe you should have asked Pookie, Ray Ray, Bonquisha, and Glocktavius that question when they were robbing the store to the point where it now has to go out of business. It's so crazy to me how the people who tolerate the crime, the people who not only perpetuate the crime, but defend the crime, the criminality, and the person who is practicing the criminality, they all of a sudden become victims when the business decides, you know what, I'm not taking the hit anymore. I'm not gonna serve this community at a loss anymore, because the people in this community obviously don't care about having the resources they need to survive in this community. It's the same thing that happened in Chicago, where Walmart left many areas of inner city Chicago because the crime and theft was out of control. But did the mayor of Chicago and the city leaders address the real issue, which was the out of control crime? No, they blamed Walmart. Much in the way Reverend Amos Brown and the leaders of San Francisco, the political leaders and the community leaders of San Francisco, are blaming Safeway, calling them racist, saying it's a slap in the face and it's an attack on black people because they refuse to continue to hemorrhage money. That's the same thing they did in Chicago. So now if you do business in San Francisco or in any liberal city around the country, and these dudes rob you and loot your business, many times violently, these people practice or steal from your store to the point where you can't even afford to make ends meet. The problem is not them. The problem is not the degenerate nature and attitude of the community. The problem is you. You're a racist because you won't continue to operate a business in a community that ultimately doesn't even appreciate what you're providing for them. A community that looks at you like a stooge and rolls in whenever they feel like it and steals from you and rob you blind. And when you get ready to leave, oh no, you're a racist and you hate black people and you hate minorities and all this stuff. Like, who actually believes that this is a sustainable way of operating? I mean, I don't. What grown person, what adult, what person on earth gonna let you come continuously steal from them and then still allow you to be around them? Say somebody come in your house and steal from your house. Are you going to continue to allow that person to come in your house? No, you're going to be like, dude, that person cannot come in my house. And if it's a situation where you can't prevent the person from coming to your house, guess what? You're going to be strongly considering moving out of that house. Like, I don't care what happens. I need to get away from this person, because if I stay around this person, I'm going to end up losing everything I got. This is what we have in the inner cities across America. We have an environment where the criminal has been emboldened by soft on crime policies and a community that would rather defend criminality than protect their community. But then the same community is out here crying and bitching and moaning when they don't have the resources to survive within their community, when they got to drive 10, 15, 20 miles away to go get the same services and resources because the businesses that provided those resources in their community have been run out of town. It's such a vicious cycle of ignorance. It is such a vicious cycle of ignorance. It literally makes you just want to put your head in your hand. It really just makes you want to shake your damn head and wonder, how did we get to this point? How did we get here from where we were, growing, thriving, building a resilient people in America? The American people are still resilient, but we were even more incredible. How did we get from that point to this point? Where now grocery stores, I'm talking about retail giants, can't even operate businesses within certain communities because the communities defend criminality and demonize the business owners, because members of their community, instead of working hard to buy the things they need, they choose to steal. They choose theft. It's so bad that now, because of these soft on crime policies, people who ordinarily wouldn't steal are now feeling emboldened to steal. I was watching a situation unfold in Target the other day. It was online. I don't know what state it was. It might have been California, where a woman has stole a bunch of merchandise from Target. California recently passed a proposition called Proposition 36, which now allows the police to enforce the law when it comes to people stealing. The police confront this lady and say, "Hey, man, can I see what's in your bag?" The woman was so damn afraid of the police catching her stealing, she started running through the Target. Please, please, screaming, "Please, please, please let me go. Please let me go. Please let me go." And I remember thinking to myself and watching, I said, you know what? That lady is really scared of the cops. She's not scared of what the police are going to do to her. She's so scared to get arrested and be identified as a thief that she's literally making a bad situation worse by turning petty theft into resisting arrest. Ain't no telling what she's going to do if the police officer actually engages her. Could turn into assault on an officer. But she's so afraid of getting caught that she'll take a situation that really shouldn't be all that harmful or dangerous, and she will make it into a dangerous situation, right? This is what we're dealing with, guys. This is what we're dealing with now. Even the geeks and the nerds and the punks, even the law-abiding citizens, the people who go out every day and work hard for what they want, even these people have been incentivized to steal because of soft on crime policies. It's absolutely ridiculous. It cannot be tolerated. And if we don't do something about it, if we don't address it and stop it right now, these Black or minority communities, they're going to be unlivable. I mean, in many ways, they're already unlivable, but they'll be even more unlivable than they already are. And they will splinter and they will dissolve into nothingness. And then you'll be screaming about gentrification. I hear African Americans always talking about gentrification, gentrification, gentrification. Do you know what allows gentrification to come into your community? A bunch of people living in a community who don't care about that community. That is like sending an invitation to gentrification. There are many communities, affordable minority communities, that have been going strong for the past 50, 60, 70 years. And ain't no real estate developers going in those communities, tearing down businesses, buying houses for penny on the dollar, and displacing people. But what prevents that from happening is for the community to have a strong sense of togetherness, for the community to understand that we have more in common than we have different, and for the community to understand that crime does not pay. Crime benefits nobody. And if you protect crime and you defend criminality, that makes you an enemy of the very community that you claim to be trying to protect, that you claim to be trying to preserve. And ultimately, you are no good to anyone except for the people who are committing crimes. I hope San Francisco gets its act together. It's a beautiful city that has been absolutely destroyed by radical leftist policies and ideologies. I hope they get it together. I hope these people understand that trying to appeal to the cheap seats, trying to champion the cause of a bunch of people who are out here addicted to meth and fentanyl and all this stuff, it is a losing effort. You can't help anyone until you can help yourself. And every day when you walk around cities like San Francisco, what do you see? You see a bunch of people who really don't know what to do, trying to help another bunch of people who are totally lost. They are totally lost and really have no course of action or idea of what they need to be doing. Gone off of the addiction to drugs and drug abuse. We can be so much better as a group of people in America. We can do so much better as communities all over America. But the first step to solving the problem is to admit you have a problem. And the second step to solving a problem is to stop arguing for your limitations. Because if you argue for your limitations, if you win the argument, the problem is that you get to keep those limitations. Thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate every single thing you do for me, and I appreciate every single thing you do for this channel. Till the next time, take care of yourselves, but most importantly, please take care of each other.